All right, welcome everyone. Give me a moment here as I share my screen with you. Perfect. If anyone can drop into the chat or give me a thumbs up somewhere if you can see this, just gonna roll with it and assume that you can. But let me know if you can't. Oops, not the link. Give me a second. Present. I think that was a yes, we can see it. I just lost my chat, so I'm just gonna, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna hope for the best. I can't see the chat, guys. This goes to show that you can do this with your kid. You can do this without knowing everything about Zoom. Yeah, okay, let's just dive straight on into things. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. We are heading into a amazing, exciting full moon time right now in about 10 hours from the time this is live. We're gonna have a full moon that really represents true change. And that's really freaking exciting to me because I've been talking to so many people who are like really getting tired of their own shit, of saying that they want to change, of looking into all these different pathways for change, and then never actually fully going all in on making that their reality. And so I can relate to this. I have said so many times throughout my life that I was going to change. We're going to go into that in a second here. But the idea right now is that all of the challenges and obstacles you've been facing over the last months and years have been here for you for a reason to guide you to this point in your life where maybe things have been feeling really sticky and tough and like you're stuck in the same cycles, but it's also started to get you more clear on like why you want to get out of those cycles and what actually is important to you. So I've had people coming to me saying, I've tried and tried and tried to make a change all these times, but now my health is getting so bad, or my debt is getting so bad, or I'm never seeing my kids, I'm never seeing my partner, and like it's finally time to really do the thing. So rock bottom doesn't have to feel like an ending in your life. It can actually be the brand new beginning of like doing something from a new energy. So that's what this moon represents. And if you're feeling those vibes, you're not alone. Yeah, it's an exciting time and also a scary time, and we feel you. So what we're going to be diving into here is the real deal, introducing you to a company and a business model online that actually works. We've seen lots of stuff, so that it actually works, but actually is really like the real deal of integrity and heart at the company's core, which I think really matters. And also making now the time that you really go and make a change in your life. So diving on in, we have both been where you might be right now. We've both followed the traditional path to success, one of us for a lot longer than the other. I did it in high school where I was like burning myself out like crazy, stopped doing everything I was passionate about in high school just to get good grades. So I thought that I had to follow that path in order to be successful and be happy. Andy did it for like 13 years in like a call center job in Guatemala City, living a life that wasn't lighting his soul on fire at all. We've both at some point in our lives felt skeptical of anything online that kind of seemed too good to be true. We have both been very burnt out, depressed, like severely depressed, living in survival mode, just barely keeping our heads above water, wondering what the freaking point of it all even is. We've both wanted more out of our lives, but felt unclear on how to get there and really freaking scared to take that leap into the unknown. And we've both at some point clung to this security of living a predictable life in one place, knowing that you're going to get your paycheck, knowing where you're going to wake up tomorrow morning. And we decided to kind of like throw all of that out the window. So yeah, I'll lead you into what that looks like now. But before I say that, I just want to share that growing up, being in sales, which you're going to learn a little bit about, was never my dream for myself. I wanted to be like a dancer. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. I was never like, I want to sell water machines, which again, you'll hear about. But here is what I did know about myself growing up. I knew that I wanted to see the world. I've known from a very young age that I wanted to be a mother. I want to help people. I want to live by the ocean. I am very passionate about editing videos. I tried to have a YouTube channel for a while, didn't make it. I think if I'd stuck with it, maybe I could have, but I didn't stick with it. I love being creative. I love writing. I love storytelling. I love climbing trees. I've always loved climbing trees. I love inspiring people. I care about children and I care about the environment and the planet that we live on and leaving it a better place for them. So that's what I did know. And now I get paid to make videos, to write, to inspire people all over the world, to tell stories, to help people while seeing the world, while being a present mother, while climbing trees, impacting world health, freeing families, living by the sea, singing, dancing, being creative, healing. The list goes on. And I never knew that the pathway to get there was actually going to be through selling water machines. And again, I'm going to walk you through what that looks like, but this is what our lives look like now, which is really, really cool. And people watch us on Instagram and they're like, wow, you guys are living the dream. Like, I don't know if everyone actually knows how the heck we do it and like what we're even doing. It from the outside pretty much just looks like we're being ourselves. We're inspiring other families. And we're somehow still able to keep traveling the world with no jobs. So if you're like, what are these guys doing? Like, what are they selling? How do they make money?
This is you and me wearing matching swimsuits.
Yeah, and our matching swimsuits. And Daddy's there too. You just can't see him because he's behind our screen there. Look, there's Daddy too, matching swimsuits. Yeah, and these are just some of the amazing memories that we have as a full-time traveling family.
We can't leave Daddy at home.
We can't just leave Daddy at home. No, he was just hiding. So you guys, I haven't worked a job in
Yeah.
he's here. I haven't worked a job in 5 years. Andy hasn't worked a job in like 2.5 years or something. And this business that we're about to introduce you to is literally our only family income stream. So that's pretty freaking cool.
And to be fair, like Shar says, like she hasn't worked, she does this. I have not been doing this. I have not been doing
This is
any of this.
all of us.
All of us,
All of
yeah.
us traveling. What do?
We're just
Where do we live?
You live anywhere with the traveling.
we're just traveling. So anyways, whenever we introduce ourselves, I'm like,
That's us climbing.
yeah, 1 second, my love. I'm like, I'm Charlotte. I'm like, this is Andy, and Hattie goes, and I'm Hattie, and I was born in Bali. Which is a great little conversation starter. Anyways, my love, we got to keep presenting, okay? So come scooch back or be there, but we're gonna talk.
But basically, I have not
Okay.
worked or have had to work a single job. Like I don't even do this often. This is the first time I've ever participated in a master class. And it just really speaks to the fact that this can actually change your life. When I was burnt out, suicidal, like just spent so much of my life kind of like disappointed. And I never envisioned life like could actually look like this. And I don't come from like a rich country. I don't come from a rich family. So yeah, like to me, like the life I'm living now seemed unattainable, unreal. The way that we are raising our daughter, like seemed impossible. And okay, sorry, we're switching things up a bit. So, but yeah, like the life that we live now to me seemed unavailable, unattainable, like it was impossible. And I didn't even know about like any of this to begin with. I just knew that Shar did like an online thing. It didn't, again, like I didn't know what that meant or any of that. I just kind of like I I was in this relationship, and that's kind of like what prompted me to kind of like be on this path. My relationship with this company and all of it started with my relationship with Shar and becoming like a full-time dad, and all of these things that I always dreamed of were suddenly possible. So what is it that we actually do? Well, we're partnered with a high ticket company, which will go into a lot more detail. We use attraction marketing. So we get to just live our lives, show up, and ignite other visionaries to do what feels good for them. Whatever that looks like, your life doesn't have to look like ours. Your dreams don't have to look like ours. You know, this is just how we choose to spend our days and live our lives. But um, basically, this gets to be for you too, whatever it is that you want to do. If it's homesteading, if it's living in a van, if it's living in a high-rise apartment, like whatever it is that your dreams are, this can also be for you. And we have our income on autopilot. Like in reality, it is crazy just how much money we make and just the money that just keeps flowing. Like there's months where we're like, there's another check coming, and I'm like, but what happened? Like, how did we even make this money? And
We'll be like asleep or on an airplane or driving around, and all of a sudden, like my mom, who's back home in Canada, gets my checks and she's like, "You got more money, you got more money." We're like, "What?"
yeah, and even on this like top left-hand corner picture where we're like in Raja Ampat. Oh, a bunch of these are in Raja Ampat, two of these are.
Mhm.
We had no service. We had like literally on some like remote island. We've been on a boat in Komodo and like
Mhm.
and just
We
get
actually didn't have much money when we went there, and we came back with more money. And normally you go traveling and then you come back and you're like broke at the end of it. We went kind of broke. We hit it like a new rank in the business. We got a 3,000 US dollar bonus. No, two of them, 3,000 US, like while we were there with like no service, and came back much richer. It's wild.
and then we also work through like or with a conscious community being supported by people who do the same. And we have actually, even if they're not business or like directly related to our income,
Mhm.
like the way we've been traveling Australia is through connections we've made through this business, visiting friends that we've made here. Um,
Like the reason we have internet right now, even though we normally live in the woods, is we're at a friend's place who's also in the business, and she doesn't financially benefit from supporting us, and we don't benefit from supporting her. But I was helping her team yesterday, and she's with our daughter right now, and it's just incredible to be surrounded by people that have a similar vision. And
and we got here on a car that
yeah, that we borrowed from a friend in the business.
who's not financially linked.
Not financially linked. So it's so cool to be around people that genuinely want to see you win. That's what I feel with this business model is like there's not much else out there where everyone like benefits from really like raising each other up instead of having to fight to get to the top of something. So yeah, that's what we're gonna go into. I don't know what you said about these things, but I trust that it was like exactly what we needed to hear. So basically the high ticket partnership that we have is with a company that sells really high-end medical grade water devices. And they bring your water back to its purest possible state, the way that it should be, living water in nature, the way that a volcanic fresh spring is like the best thing that you could put into your body. You're like healing natural waters around the world. It's basically technology, Japanese technology that yeah, is really able to um, bridge that gap between what nature creates for our bodies and then a lot of us living disconnected from nature, not having that drinking water that just goes through like the pipes and tap water, like bottled water. There's just a lot of issues with it all. I'm not going to go into all of it, but essentially that's what we do is we get to support people with bringing their bodies back to the way that they were designed to thrive. And so all of what we just shared with you and the way that we get to live is supported by this work we do with this 50-year-old Japanese company that produces the highest quality of living water and pays us for igniting others to elevate their health and their lifestyle. So that's really cool because we know that like the money we're making is really making change in the world as well. This company is reducing plastic consumption around the world, which is freaking huge. We've lived on islands where we just see the amount of plastic that washes up on the ocean, and it's not okay. There honestly like needs to be a solution, and this is a big part of that. So getting rid of chemical cleaners and other toxic beauty products, like healing products for bug bites and diaper rash and all the little creams and bottles and toxins that we have, just replacing all of that and hydrating us.
Even like soap,
Soaps and dish soaps,
detergents.
laundry soaps. Like we live in the woods and all we do is like wash our things with different types of water. And the different pH levels of water that our machine produces literally get the grease off of our pans and get like stains out of clothing and help our daughter with her mosquito bites, like you name it. I'm always like, what is the Kangen water solution for a bee sting or for this or that?
Yeah.
So it's also obviously hydrating us on a cellular level and being able to really raise humanity in more ways than I can possibly explain. I genuinely think like this water raises your frequency, but I'll save the woo-woo stuff for another time, but that's how I feel. Um, so this company, we just got back from Japan, where the company is founded, and we got to see where the machines are made. We got to see, like, doesn't these photos just bring you so much joy? Like, we got to see the factory workers and how grateful they are for the work that they do and the energy and the intention that they put into like polishing these little soaps in the second photo. It just melted my heart. We got to see where their incredible turmeric is grown only with Kangen water, and just feel the energy of the land and the farmers tending to it and like farming sustainably and intentionally. Like these are the things that move our world forward, and this is all a part of the new earth that we're moving into, and these things really matter. So to witness this company in their heart celebrating their 50th anniversary, have them like waving at Hattie through the factory windows, going to their Enagic bowling alley and just like having a fun time and knowing that like play is a big part of what I think keeps people in Okinawa living super long, because Okinawa, Japan is one of the 5 blue zones in the world where a lot of people live to over 100 years old. And they have fun and they love each other and they support each other and they drink amazing water and they consume turmeric and the list goes on. So we saw all of this, but the best freaking part that's going to be the highlight of like my life when it comes to what I've witnessed in this company is the 83-year-old founder of the company playing the banjo, a 50th anniversary banjo that actually has his own face on it. And you can just like I sat there and I thought, if anyone has ever thought that this company, Enagic, I don't even know if I said the name of it, but that Enagic as a company could be a scam, look at this guy. Like, feel his heart and his gratitude. He has such a big mission to impact world health, and his definition of true health, meaning physical health, obviously through the water and bringing our bodies to a state where they can thrive, mental health, like mental, spiritual, inner health, and being able to be surrounded by uplifting community and be working towards a common vision and feel fulfilled in your life and feel like you're moving towards something good. And financial health. So he's really passionate about supporting families, supporting people from all different walks of life, from all different countries and backgrounds that had no money, from poverty, like literally from poverty. People have found ways to invest in a product with this company and be able to build themselves from the ground up. And they're now like crying on stage, thanking Mr. Oshiro for changing the trajectory of their entire community. So
Like nail technicians from like the Philippines
yeah,
and people who grew up in like Indian slums,
yeah,
um,
Indonesians, like I know
millionaires
Indonesians.
on stage,
Yeah.
like thanking Mr. Oshiro for changing their life.
Mm-hmm.
And even our daughter, honestly, like when we go like on our list of things that we're grateful for every day, um, Patty's always like, I thank Mr.
Mr. Mashiro. His name is Mr. Oshiro. But yeah, she goes, and thanks, Mr. Mashiro. And we didn't train her to say this. We just honestly feel so much gratitude to this man and his vision. He's 83 years old and he still plans to be around for like 50 more years. So he has like new inventions and new things he wants to do over the next decades. And that's what keeps you living long too, right? Is like if you have a vision and you're working towards something, like you're not just like, oh, I'm going to retire and sit around and do nothing for the rest of my life. Then your body just withers away. It's like, I'm creating, I'm making change in this world. Like, I'm just getting started. And he brought his whole family up there and he was introducing every little one of his family
like
members,
his nephews.
his nephews, his everyone. He's like, this is this person. And just, he's so proud of this vision coming to life. And you can feel it in an arena of 8,000 people impacted. And that's barely scratching the surface of everyone who's been impacted by Enagic. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like if we said nothing else, like Andy's going to go into the logical side of like, why isn't this a pyramid scheme and all of those things. But if nothing else, I feel like you can just feel that there's something different about what's being created here. So, oh, what? I skipped to the very end. Sorry, guys. um, So, while personally, the product, the water ionizer machines, are not all over my own social media. That's just how I choose to do things. I focus more on sharing my message of freedom and impact and travel. And our automated sales process actually gets to happen all behind the scenes. So I don't need to just be posting the product everywhere and pushing it to everyone. But with that being said, we genuinely wholeheartedly stand behind Enagic as a company, and we're endlessly grateful and proud that our family's abundant income is actually a direct reflection of supporting families around the world to drink the best water and support the planet. Like, what more could you ask for? And the abundance that streams into our life through Enagic also supports us to expand into all other areas of our vision and passions. This might not be your thing or like the thing. Like we all have different gifts, right? And so whether it's you want to be able to be a present parent, or maybe you have all these other dreams of like hosting retreats or being able to, I don't know, start that art project or like anything that it is, have a podcast, whatever, but it's like you're gonna need a financial vehicle to fuel it all. So this is just the vehicle that supports everything else we'll go on to create in this life.
We recently heard a person in like the Enagic conference talking about how he had like this vision of being kind of like a spiritual man, and how he finally kind of like made this gap or filled this gap between like spirituality and sales, realizing that sales really was the vehicle for him to be able to do all of these things, right? And now he's able to visit like his ancestral home in like Serbia, or travel to India and visit this like holy place, um, because he has the money to do it, right? And so um, again, if your thing is not necessarily like sales, you're closing yourself off to like the abundance that the universe would want to channel through you.
Yeah.
And also it's not just about the money, but it's again like the impact you can have with that money, and how it's going to improve your life, but also like the impact you can have on the life of other people.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're creating a story of how you believe the world works, and you're telling yourself a new version of how that gets to go. And that ripples out to humanity, and especially through the next generation of humans growing up to see that maybe it doesn't have to be all hustle and grind and sacrifice everything in order to just barely keep surviving. We realize like we don't want our daughter to think that's how the world works. So why not show her what it looks like to actually follow your heart and be abundantly supported and trust that like life actually has your back. The more that you keep sharing your heart and sharing your message and giving value to the world, you'll always have the money to support yourself if you really can stay in tune with that.
And when we tell Hattie, for example, that we have no money, she just it means that we don't have like physical cash. That's what that means. It's not like there is no money, or money is hard, or it doesn't grow on trees, so you're not gonna get like this thing. It's just like we literally
forgot to bring cash to the market.
our wallet.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and again, like she'll still understand that we put energy in for the money that we have, but like that the money that we have comes from serving people around the world, and like how incredible that cycle is. So yeah, it's a whole deep thing, right? But raw and real with you guys, we could talk for ages about how like life supports you and money. Like it's not just about Enagic. I want you to know that like I'm proud of you if you go build anything for yourself, right? And we'll go into that, but that like you have to have a vehicle and a channel for that to actually come through, because otherwise like where is life? You might get some random government tax rebate and be like, yes, life had my back, but you need to create a space and create a vehicle for the money to come through, and Enagic is what we really believe can do that so beautifully. So let's just dive straight in. Let's just go there. Whatever you might be thinking, because we all come into this, you know, with some sort of preconceived idea of maybe like what it might be, or what we think online business looks like. So you might be wondering if this is a pyramid scheme. You might be wondering what makes this different than like a traditional network marketing company that I'm not a big fan of, or why do I need to invest money in order to make money? Am I guaranteed to get a return when I invest in this business and these products? Can I just sell the products without actually owning one? And just in general, like this seems too good to be true. I don't get it. So those are just a couple of things you might be wondering. We're just gonna go straight in there.
And to this, I would say just because a company operates through like with an MLM structure, multi-level marketing, direct sales, network marketing, it doesn't mean it's a pyramid scheme or a scam. This is a proven business model that works. And from the early days of Tupperware parties to like everything that has happened since then, this is now like a multi-billion-dollar industry that closes, again, billions of dollars of sales every year. And Enagic actually calls this a human-based marketing, which stems from a very simple truth, which is if people like your product, they'll recommend it. And if they love it, they'll just, shout it from the rooftops, right? And being in the call center industry for as long as I was, I saw a shift in how they measured like the success or the impact of a customer interaction from like, was this this sales rep a good rep? Or sorry, like was this customer service representative a good representative? To now, a lot of it is just at the end, they are asking based on how we handled this problem or based on this interaction, how likely are you to recommend this company? And yeah, like likeliness recommend is how companies thrive and how business keeps growing. Because people who hate your company will go out and like talk about it with a lot of people. And word of mouth is important. That's how influencers even became a thing, right? Because if you see somebody who you trust or who you believe in or you like using a product, you're likely to invest in it. So human-based marketing is not, again, it's not a scam. It's not just because that's not the way everybody does it, doesn't mean it's not working.
And it actually makes me think of even like successful coaches. Like if you started a coaching business, you can do all of the marketing that you can, but like the best marketing is actually going to be when someone tells someone else about you and is like, I had such a great experience with this person, like she's the real deal and you want to work with her. And you can feel that because you trust that other person, or that coach is sharing testimonials of what some real person has said about the experience. So like it really is the best form of marketing because you can rely on like someone you trust. Like if you guys know me and Andy at all, we're not here to scam you. I like the person that I purchased these products from. I was like, I can feel that she cares about me. She wants to see me succeed. And if it was just through some online checkout thing, I would have been like, ooh, what am I getting myself into? But because I was talking to a real human, I was like, oh, I get this. I feel like we're in this together. And so, yeah, human-based marketing just makes
And
sense.
she was at the birth of your baby.
And then she was there when my baby was born, and we became best friends and like traveled the world together and lived together and like have built an incredible, impactful business together. So like she wasn't scamming me.
So also, Enagic is a 50-year-old reputable company, legally registered to do business globally, in markets like the US, Canada, Europe, Australia. These are like highly regulated markets where not everything, flies by, and where even companies like Apple and Google get like sued because of some, business practices that are not above board. So again, the fact that Enagic has been around for as long as it has, and also even like the Japanese standard for a company is not the rest of the world. Basically, when you are, when you see a Japanese company, they hold themselves to a much higher standard, basically.
Yeah, and they set up companies with the vision of having it for generations. They don't just think about how can I make a quick buck here and like take advantage of people and make a bunch of money. They really are like, how can we set ourselves up sustainably to pass this down to our children, their children, their children? Like they have like legacy in their mind as a country, really.
Yeah, and even Enagic has like, plans for like at least the next 100 years, even though they just turned 50,
500.
right? 500.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't even conceptualize 500 years. Yeah, they're good.
Anyway, it's monitored by the Direct Sales Association. We report our income, pay taxes, and so does the company.
So it's not some underground income.
Yeah, it's
Like I
not.
have to tell people that I made it.
Exactly. Like I've seen companies where they'll pay you on some card online and stuff, and
They'll
like
send you some cash.
yeah, like like it's like, you know, weird, and all of these things just seem like, again, like something doesn't smell right here.
Yeah, we
But
get paid with checks.
we get
I put
paid
my
with
name on them.
and again, taxes, right?
Yeah.
The K8 has multiple medical grade certificates but get renewed regularly. And last but not least, I would say here, just as a conscious consumer, you should do your own due diligence. We are used to be like, in our society, it's very normal that big pharma will sponsor a study that says that, you know, this X medication or something that rhymes with it, like, is safe. And you know, it's big pharma telling you that you can consume their product safely. And same with like the meat industry telling you that this is right, or like the dairy industry paying for something. And so it's hard to trust like the science behind some of these things. So I again, as a conscious consumer, I would say do your due diligence, look into your sources. Is this source unbiased? A lot of the things out there that are like trashing Enagic online, for example, are trying to sell you either on an alternative business model that they can show you how to do it, or they're like selling you water ionizers. So, you know, they're competitors. Basically, again, look at your sources, see it, like, did this person even own a product? Did they actually use it? Because all of the people that I know that have Enagic machines in their homes, even if they've never made a sale after years in this business, love their water and love their products. So and also there's so many oh yeah, like documentaries and stuff like that about water, you know, where people are saying like, oh, negative ions in the water and all these things, and they sound like commercials for Enagic, but they're not. Like, that's the thing. Like, these are like legitimate uh documentaries that you'll find like on Netflix or Gaia and things like that, and are not related again to us, but end up selling our product.
Yeah. Yeah, so reach out after this if you're seeking some of that information, because I can direct you to tools where we've curated a bunch of this information and brought it together, but that's still biased. That's still me telling you, I think you should buy a Kangen machine. There are literally documentaries. There's one called The Secret of Water, I think, and it's on Gaia, but you can find it on YouTube somewhere. Just it's wild because you'll watch this and it actually has nothing to do with the company, but it's telling you to drink pretty much this exact type of water that these machines produce. And then if you go on PubMed, PubMed, it's where you can find a bunch of scientific research that's not biased, from independent studies. And you can search electrolyzed reduced water. I will try to type that wherever this replay is, or just search ERW water. That's the scientific name for the water that we're drinking. If you search a company name or product name, all you're going to get is people's opinions on the company or product. If you want the science and the facts behind the actual scientific like product, then yeah, that's what you would search.
And I'll even say, for example, we're not just like, it's not just even the water. Now they have like an electromagnetic frequency blocker and things like that. And you know, like, there again, there's so much research about like life under like a cell phone tower and things like that. And like all of these things, again, whether you believe in them or not, like, again, if you don't believe in them, or if you don't trust the product, or you don't think you need the product, I think that you haven't done enough research. Because once you look into the quality of tap water, once you look into like
you'll never go back.
Yeah, like,
I won't drink any other water.
And I really do say this, it sounds mean, but I say it wholeheartedly. Like, if you think that it's okay to drink tap water, then I think tap water is what you should be drinking.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Or learn
go
better.
for it, yeah.
Learn better, know better, do better. Because if you actually take the time to look into what you're putting in your body, like we talk about what foods we put into our body, we talk about drinking enough water, we've never really thought about like what actually is in the water that we're drinking. And our bodies are made of over 70% water. So you think that you don't become like what you're drinking? Think about it. So anyways, like, could go on.
Yeah.
Won't go on, but yeah, it matters. We all drink water, right? So another reason this isn't a pyramid scheme. what a pyramid scheme actually is, by the way, because a lot of people would come and be like, oh, it sounds like a pyramid scheme, and they don't even know what a pyramid scheme is. They've just heard of this term, and what they mean is like that you make money when people buy from you or something, and that's not a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is where there's not actually a product of value being exchanged. So it's like an investment recruitment strategy where you're like, if you get enough people to invest in this business idea, then like the person at the top will get that money, and then eventually it could get paid out to you if you get enough people on board. But it's like, on board for what? What are you buying? You're just buying into the idea of this plan. And so there's like a compensation plan, there's someone at the top, and it's like inevitably the person at the top is going to make all the money, and the people at the bottom are just buying into like a promise, right? And so there's actually a product here you're purchasing. That's the main thing. That's the main reason. Like, there are so many happy customers who have their product and aren't even intending to build a business with an Agic, but will pay for the product and will buy them for their restaurants, they're in hospitals all over Japan, like
Uh,
sterilizing medical equipment.
And also, like a quick segue, like we actually went to this retreat, again, not an Enagic retreat, where it was for high-performing entrepreneurs and business owners who just wanted to kind of like up-level their health and up-level their life. We're talking about emotions and all of these other things, but like the expert nutritionist that was there looking at our, measuring our magnesium and stuff, all of these things, loves Kangen water.
And he doesn't sell it.
He doesn't sell it.
He tells everyone to buy it, and he doesn't even make the commission. He doesn't even know where the commission goes. He doesn't care that he could make money from it. He just tells them all to go buy one.
And we literally were like, did you know that you can make money selling these? And he was like, I'm not interested. And I actually make so much money from like he's coaching athletes and
like elite athletes and entrepreneurs. Like, so he makes more than enough money. He's cool, and he's just like, but I'll pretty much only work with them if they're gonna start drinking this water, and I can see in their blood tests and everything, I can see what changes when they drink this water. And so I was like nervous to tell him like, I have this water machine, I want to hook it up, and like, what's he gonna say? I'm not very sciencey, I don't know how to explain what it is. And he was like, you brought one of those? That's exactly what this wellness retreat was missing. Like, we can't have this retreat without Kangen water, thank you. And like started telling everybody at the retreat why like they actually should be drinking this water, and like, just so cool. He's not even selling the thing. So yeah, the other thing about this business, which was really cool, is like there's not just one person sitting at the top making all of the money, which is amazing. So they literally have designed their compensation plan so perfectly that I genuinely think whenever a sale is made, the perfect amounts get distributed to whoever supported with that sale. So yes, if I make a sale to someone and they make a sale to someone, I do still get paid. And I probably was involved in supporting that person with making their sale. So it makes sense that I'm getting paid as like their mentor. And then eventually they start making more and more and more money as they go through the business, and I make less and less until I'm eventually completely cut out of those commissions. Rightfully so, because that person's going on doing their thing, making their sales. They're like independent, they don't even really need me anymore. And it's just incredible how it's set up so that you can't just have someone who buys in at the right time, does nothing, and makes bank off of everybody else. But the other thing here is you're also not solely requiring recruiting business builders. Like, you're not like every single person who purchases from me has to build the business, otherwise I won't make money. You could solely sell the product and grow your business to high ranks and get paid so much money, even if nobody else in your organization ever made sales. If you literally just sold the product directly over and over and over again because you're so passionate about it, you don't need to build a team to make amazing money here. We know someone who was making like 5 to 10K a month casually, just recommending the product to friends before she actually believed enough in the business model to feel comfortable also sharing the business and sharing that vision. But she only was selling the product and she was making so much money. And now she's making like 20, 30K months, like beyond. There's so much that's possible here, but you don't have to rely on someone else building this business for you. You can anyone coming into this business can out earn the person that came above or before them. So literally, like, I know people in this business who have had $100,000 month, while their person above them that brought them in made like 2,000 that month. Like, you can come in here and you can do the work and you can make more than me in a single month for sure. 100%. And it's so beautifully designed. You also, the thing to recognize is like you have a return on your investment immediately the second that you bought your product, because it's so high value. I think you should buy it whether you want to do the business or not. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Don't buy it if you don't align with it.
And even this the nutritionist that we were talking about, like he even told us like, like I'll recommend it. I don't feel comfortable selling it. Like I don't want people, like I don't think people should even like it. And if I ever like recommend it, it's not so that they get into the business. I don't care if they sell it. I don't like this water is so good. It'll change their life and it'll impact their health and their family's health. And so right off the bat, you got your money's worth. It's the product is that good.
Yeah. So also understanding Enagic as a company versus other MLM or network marketing companies that are out there. I've been in other ones, so I know firsthand from years of experience what it looks like to build in a different company and why this felt so different to me. When I came into this business, I actually announced that I had quit network marketing and started Enagic. I didn't even realize it was actually still a network marketing company because it didn't seem like one. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm tired of network marketing. I want to do this instead. I didn't get it. So now I'm like, okay, technically it is like it's a direct sales. It is a network marketing company under that umbrella, but unlike anything else I've ever seen online before. You're investing a higher amount of money one time. So scary, right? To invest bigger into a higher end product, right? If you don't have that money laying around and it's not just a couple $100s, right? To be completely like transparent with you, the machines cost around $6,000. I invested into a few of them and spent 17,000, and I didn't have $17,000, right? So like those numbers might feel scary, but I'm just putting them right out there because like yes, it is an investment. Um and it's a one-time investment. I recognize that through spending hundreds of dollars a month on products in this old wellness company that I was in, for the rest of my life to keep my business active, I would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars anyways on products. So I might as well have just done it at the beginning, got a financing plan with a loan to be able to pay it slower and be able to invest one time and have my business for life. The second you own a product with Enagic, you have an ID number that's basically your affiliate code for recommending the products to others for the rest of your life and getting paid on them. Even if you never bought anything ever again, you would always have your business. You will never go backwards in your rank. This is huge. I've like worked so hard to get to a certain rank in a company to start getting paid more in network marketing, only to like have one person stop ordering the next month and I went backwards. It's like my success is based around whether I can convince someone that they need to buy products again next month, like constantly calling them being like, do you need more protein shakes? Do you need more like, and if not, then I go back, I go back, I go back over and over and over again. You're always starting back at the beginning. And with this, as soon as you've hit a rank in the business, it's just based on how many total sales you've made since you started your beginning of your journey. If you took a break for 5 years and came back in, doesn't matter, you're still at the same rank.
And we actually know people who have taken breaks for years, built other successful businesses, but now they're like, I'm actually coming back because the money is just really so good.
Yeah, the money and the legacy and everything that's here. And so they come back in, they pick up right where they left off. You're never like in this constant burnout of like, oh, if I don't hustle and finish this, then like I go back to the beginning, back to the beginning. It's crazy. So that one's huge. There's no membership fees to become like an active business associate. You don't pay like a business builder price versus like just a product user. You don't pay anything extra to have access to the business model. You own your product, you can refer it to others and get paid. That's it. You don't
No
have,
monthly quotas, no.
yeah, no one over your shoulder like, why didn't you make more sales? Like none of that. You can build to legacy income, which is where true passive wealth starts to happen. So it starts at minimum 5,000 US dollars per month for the rest of your life, regardless of how many sales you make that month at all the way up to like 80,000 US dollars a month for life. And that can be passed down to your children. So these numbers, like I'm saying them so casually now because I'm like, yeah, like legacy income. But at the beginning, I was like, what do you even mean? Like 5,000 US dollars a month for the rest of my life, promised, like with no sales required at that point seemed insane, but now I see the pathway and I see how it happens and I know friends who have gotten there and I'm really close and it's like wild. It's wild. Even if you built for like 10 or 20 years in this business to get to the point where 5, 10, 15, 20,000 for the rest of your life passed down to your kids, you would never get that in any other like career path. There's so much automation here, so you're not doing everything on your own, whereas in my previous company, I was having to do all the sales, all the processing, paperwork, teaching everybody what to do. Here, there's literally a step-by-step process you can follow on how to build your business. Other people can follow it too, so you don't have to be an expert. And honestly, having high ticket commissions versus low ticket commissions changes everything. Because if you were getting paid, let's say $20 a sale, with something else, then in order to make a $10,000 month, you have to sell 500 products. And then you got to do it again next month and again next month. Like, where are you going to find people to buy 500 products from you every single month? It just, and that's to make 10K. We've made 50K a month in this business. Like, I don't know where we would have found all those low ticket commissions, but high ticket commissions, if you sell a product where you make 2,000 in one commission, you only need 5 sales that month to make $10,000. And you can get to a point where you're making up to $8,000 per sale in this business. So literally 1 or 2 sales a month would be like $10,000-$15,000 in commissions. And that changes the game because it allows you to come from a place where you're not needing to pressure everybody. You're not hoping and praying and pushing for every single person you know to join you in your business or to purchase products from you, because you recognize you don't need everyone, right? You don't need hundreds of people to buy from you. You don't need to convince your aunt that she needs, like, you just get to do it from a more organic place where you're not so desperate to make millions of sales and push everyone you know.
And more inspired.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So do you actually need to purchase a product to get partnered with this company? I think that it's freaking out of integrity and a little bit scammy if you're going to be selling and promoting something that you don't actually believe in enough to use it.
And I think a lot of the reasons why we don't trust salespeople is because, they'll be trying to sell you on some used car or whatever, but not something that they're driving, not something that they're willing to use.
Like, if it's so good, why don't you
Yeah.
buy it?
Yeah, like dealers that don't, use their own supplies, right? Or even like I read this thing about how like tech giants have rules on how their children engage with technologies, because again, they know that it's not great for you to be like hooked on like your phone and Facebook and all these things, right? Like, so they'll have very strict rules with their children on how they use technologies and screens.
But they design it to be addictive for your children to use and tell you it's fine.
So again, like I think definitely you cannot sell something that you don't love. You can, but it's out of integrity. And like for us, like we'll literally like set this water like up when we're camping, when we're traveling, we'll
Yeah.
travel with it.
We're
And
actually a little bit crazy. Like, Andy thought I was crazy for the longest time
Yeah.
with how desperate, or not desperate, like devoted I was to making sure that I always have this water to drink. He's like, "Are you sure you can't just drink other water for the night?" I'm like, "No, I can't. I'll
And
just
sometimes I
die."
was even like annoyed that she's like trying to hook up this like shower filter at our hotels, and I'm like, if you break this, we're gonna have to like pay for it, right? Like, that this is like a hotel. And she's like, it's my priority to make this happen. And Hattie was born in Anespa water and
We never even said what an Anespa is, but they have a shower
filter.
product as well.
And so
Really
like
good.
all of these things, like we believe in them, we use them daily. And like again, even when camping, we'll find a way, we'll like have this pump that
The setups that we've had to randomly like try to get our off-grid like water going, it's just nuts. But it's the standard that we have for what we put in our bodies now is so high. And like, I'll still eat shit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'll eat McDonald's. Like, I know that it's not great, but I know how much my body is really, really made of water and soaking it all in. I just imagine like my cells being like a sponge that's taking in like all of the water that you put into it. And I'm like, if it's not this, I don't want it. And so honestly, like, your skin is your largest organ. It's literally absorbing what you're bathing in. You become what you are like drinking and bathing in and surrounding yourself with. Like, and yeah, so to me, I don't really understand the idea that people could think we're scamming anybody, because like we will use this product till the day we die.
and also high-end products, high-ticket products, you buy them, they rarely come with any opportunity to like you buy a Ferrari and then if you sell a Ferrari, like you get a referral commission. That's just not how any of these things normally work, right? But people will buy a Ferrari um, when they could have bought like a Toyota, or they could have bought like some Chinese car to do exactly the same thing and get them to the exact same place. Maybe not do exactly the same thing, but take you from A to B effectively. And again, you don't think that's a scam, because for you it's worth it. For you, like the Ferrari is worth the price.
Mhm.
And so I guess that's the other thing
That we're gonna
that
go
we're
into
gonna, yeah,
anyways.
these products seem expensive,
They're
right?
like the Ferrari of water. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
they're like the best water you can
to
drink.
me, honestly, a Ferrari seems expensive. An iPhone seems expensive.
Mhm. Speaking of iPhones, this literally says like all companies have a markup on their products, and it costs Apple like $1 to make an iPhone, and they'll sell it for $2,000. So every company out there is gonna have a markup on their products, and that budget usually goes to like paying the staff and paying for the factory and paying for this, paying for that, paying for the manufacturing, paying for the, all of the expenses and the hiring and all of it. But then a big part of a company's marketing, or sorry, their budget goes into marketing, right? So like I think on average companies usually have like a 55% markup, which is right around like where Magic's at as well. And that money, that 55% goes back into their distributors. So it goes back into the people that are sharing and selling the water. And so instead of paying for TV commercials, like who actually watches the commercials anymore? We skip them, or like at this point we watch Netflix or we watch it illegally. Nobody's watching commercials. Like we skip ads on YouTube. So it's like, where can they share this with us? How can they get this water into more families' homes through other families that are using it and loving it? So with that markup, it's like if it's not going into traditional like billboards and other marketing, it can go back into the people who are marketing it organically because they love it. And then that gets to impact the financial status of like average families like us around the world who don't have, like, I don't have a university degree. What else was I going to do to make all of this money? But like it's supporting people like us to raise our kids better, to be in our passions, right? So anyways, the other thing with it being at a higher cost than what we might think it should be is that the cost of an appliance that's actually certified medical grade is normally not something that the average person can ever have in their home. A medical appliance, medical licensing takes decades and millions of dollars to obtain. And it's really, really strict. Japan is actually the strictest country in the world on medical grade licensing. So in order to have something certified medical grade in Japan is really, really challenging. And it's not something that just gets handed out. So to own a medical device that normally hospitals would purchase this machinery that costs tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have one of them in your home for like $6,000 for 25 years is like unheard of. And that's the thing, is like you have the right to decide if that's of value to you or not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and really, again, as I said, as a conscious consumer, it's 100% up to you to decide, is this worth it? Like, are the benefits worth the cost for me? Like,
yeah.
do I want to have this machine for 25 years in my house? Like the impact that it'll have on your health, on your family's health, um, what is that worth to you? How is that even quantifiable? Like when we were getting our minerals tested and all these things, he was like, I can tell that you guys been drinking like Kangen water because this is low, this is low. And like you don't have to change anything there. Like
Yeah.
you do need to drink like multivitamins, but that's
Yeah, and eat a little less carbs,
well,
apparently.
eat a little less carbs,
But
yes.
honestly, like if you have your health, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. If you don't have the vitality to be running around with your kids, like what's the point? You have nothing, right? And so a lot of people wait until it's almost too late, or it becomes extra expensive one day down the road to go back and fix all their health shit. And honestly, I will say, I'm not going to make all these claims about how we can like cure cancer and all this stuff, although like cancer can't thrive in an alkaline environment. But I'm just like, honestly, I've seen so many testimonials of people whose health that they've struggled with for so long has been so deeply impacted by this product, just drinking different water, like all these different things that they tried, and they changed their water and it changed their life. And so, yeah, like what is that worth to you? Like, don't wait until you come down with some like condition from all the shit that's in our water to finally make a change and be like, oh, maybe I should go back and clean that up.
Yeah.
I think everyone eventually is going to have to drink Kangen water because the world's going to get so bad. I don't want to like be doomy gloomy, but like, the stuff that's in our water and the stuff, the pesticides and like everything, we're going to have to start really taking like matters into our own hands, which is what we're doing now, and
Yeah.
like reclaim our health.
And
And
we
it's gonna-
really do believe in like preventive rather than
what's it called?
remedial kind of like
Yeah.
approaches, right?
Yeah. Don't
Anyway,
put a Band-Aid on it later, like just start thinking about it now.
now this is a big one, and especially for me, like I think I've been like I don't like sales. I don't like sales. I don't like sounding salesy. I don't trust salespeople. But honestly, I've come to recognize that if you're not into sales, you're gonna be working for someone who is in sales for the rest of your life. Because again, having worked for as long as I did in the traditional workforce, um, I was literally like a slave with like a better title, honestly. But I couldn't even afford to get sick. I couldn't take days off. When I got sick and they wanted to suspend me, I was like, please don't suspend me because I'm not gonna get paid the same amount of money if I don't show up to work. Even if it's a medical suspension, like I was like, no, and I remember I had a girlfriend of mine who was in like an accident, and she was like, no, like I'll go to work like on a wheelchair. And for months we did. She went to work on a wheelchair because we honestly just couldn't afford not going to work. So how do these people make sales? How does your salary get to you? By people who actually make sales, right? Who are branding the company, who are getting the clients, who the clients' sales are happening because they're marketing their product and selling it. And so like the way that money gets exchanged in our society is through sales. So
Yeah, like, and if you don't want to be in sales, so you're gonna host retreats instead, or you're gonna be a masseuse, or you're gonna be a
Yeah.
coach, you
you're
still
like a
have to.
spiritual person, right? That doesn't want to
We're
sell.
also like spiritual people. We're not making fun of it.
Yeah, no.
But we feel it, right? Where we're like, oh, like maybe we wouldn't have to sell things if we just like hosted retreats. You got to sell why people should be at your retreat, and you have to ask them for the money at some point, right? And if you're a masseuse, you can't just like do it for free all the time, right? Like all these things, you actually have to um, work on your relationship to sales to like thrive in this world. We pass money around all the time. We're like, oh, you have this, I have that. Okay, here's the money. I need that thing. Like I need a massage. Okay, so like all these things, and it's like we just circulate money around through the selling of a product or service. So even service-based businesses, you're still selling why someone should choose your service, like consulting, why they should work with you, why they should work with you as a real estate agent or whatever. Like, well, you are selling them a house, so like that is definitely sales. But yeah,
Yeah. And it really, word of mouth marketing is natural. And if we stop overcomplicating it, we'll realize like that's really what we do. Like
as humans,
I literally have a Game of Thrones tattoo. I love the show so much. I used to tell everybody they should watch it. And
Game of Thrones wasn't paying him for this,
they were
unfortunately.
not paying me. And even like Shar, like if you get her talking about like
Kombucha
or Inside Out 2 or like
yeah, there's like certain movies that'll be like, oh, you have to watch Soul, like it's so good. Like Pixar is not paying me. I don't know if it's Disney or Pixar or both, but yeah, like we'll just go off about why someone needs to go to this waterfall or why you need to book a tour with this guy, or like we'll sell things so organically. And even now with the water, like Andy's like, I don't want to be in sales. I think it's weird and icky, but I realize like you kind of have to if you want to get it ahead. Look at how easily you're selling this water now because you're like, fuck, it works. Like, man, it's actually good. I actually really do think that everyone out there should go and build a business if they want to because I believe in it. So if you believe in something, then you'll have an easy time promoting it. If something aligns with your values, you'll authentically be able to be like, yeah, I think it's good. Like,
Yeah.
try it out or don't.
And in reality, I think that's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily sell anything, or I can't sell anything. But when you find something that like is impacting your health, your wellness, your sustainability, like it's impacting other people's like financial status or stability, all of these things that an adjunct does, it's so easy to recommend it because again, like wholeheartedly like looking at you in the eye, and again, people who know me too, like that's the thing about this business is people know you. You are the billboard, you are the one that's out there putting your face, and there's always like fears of rejection and all of these things that come up. But even overcoming all of that, like, yes, I can wholeheartedly say I stand behind this product and recommend it because it aligns with so many of my values.
Mhm.
And so if you truly feel the vision, you can just, yeah, sell it.
He's like literally just said like I do and we do us and we get paid. And like it is honestly so true. Like we literally exist and we live our lives and we keep getting paid. The more we inspire other people to live bigger lives and to take care of themselves and their family, it's crazy. But it's not crazy because it's like, yeah, if you're truly on board with the vision and you see where you want to go, like you're going to become magnetic to other people that are waking up to that too. So whether that's waking up to what's in their water or whether that's waking up to like the scam that is actually their corporate job, like either way, you're there for them and they
Yeah.
trust you because you're real and you're you. And like,
Yeah.
again,
Like my barber is like, oh, like I wish I could travel all the time. And I'm like, well,
do it,
you
travel.
could. Like you literally could.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to wait till like I'm some, guy who worked at call centers in Guatemala. It's not that I come from like an oil family. Like I travel the world because I travel the world. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think people who align with you and your values will naturally just want to work with you. They'll
Mhm.
see what you're doing and be like, what is it?
Yeah, and people have said to me, whatever it is, I'm on board. Like they don't even know what we're getting into, but they're like, I feel your mission and I can feel what you're about and like I want to do it too. And that's what's amazing here is like it really is about who you're being, not just how good of a salesperson you are. Am I guaranteed a return on my investment? First of all,
Yeah.
well, no,
No.
Point
So
blank,
point
no.
blank, no. You could simply choose to use the products. You don't even have to sell them. So, but we believe that the products are the return on your investment. Before you even make a penny out of an adject,
You already haven't been scammed because you got the best freaking water that you could ever have, like before anything. And so that's why we said like so many people in this company are so happy just having their water. They don't even try to make sales, but like, authentically, you're probably gonna recommend it a couple times. You might as well make some money, right?
and adject publishes their distributors' incomes. They just publish how much they made. They actually strictly prohibit and monitor making wild income claims or promises.
Yeah, so if someone is promising you and guaranteeing you that you're going to make easy money by doing nothing, that should be a concern. Like that actually sounds a little bit schemy that you're going to invest and put money into something and they're like, for sure it's coming back. Like no one can say that in the stock market. No one's like, yes, we know for sure that your stock's going to go up.
And
Or
the
like,
people who do, honestly, you should beware. Like if they're like,
yeah,
yeah, buy Bitcoin from me, and like for sure,
you're
like
going to be a millionaire. Yeah, that's no one can actually know for sure what's going to happen with anything. You don't know when you buy a house that like the market's actually going to go up and that you're going to make money on it. You might lose money on it. You might sell it next year and you lost a bunch of like nobody knows, but we take these risks all the time. Before we head into that, I just want to say like it really is up to you to make sales. And if you don't make a sale in this business, you're not going to make money. It's point blank. So you get to choose, do I run with this and go make a bunch of sales? Do I do it casually? Do I treat it like a hobby? Do I treat it like I'm all in and I'm going to change my life and this is it. This is my business. Treat it like I'm building something myself from the ground up. Or am I like happy if I just drink the water and maybe make, $1,000 sometimes, whatever you get to choose. But the thing is as well, like a scam would also represent that like either somebody purchases a product and they never get their product, or you make a sale and you never get that money. That would be like a scam. And so like that's not happening here. I feel like no, you just skipped to the end. So
I
say there's more. Okay, we're almost done. But yeah, just heading into like what do we actually consider normal as a society? So we
Yeah.
consider it super normal to invest in a traditional business that is not guaranteed to succeed. If you went and bought like spent hundreds of thousands of dollars or even started something smaller, but like you're purchasing a building and you're opening up a restaurant or a hotel and you're hiring staff and you've got all these other outgoing expenses that you didn't even realize you were going to have. Like you're like, oh right, I have to pay to keep the electricity on in the whole building. Like right, I got to pay salaries. All these things going into so much debt, and nobody can promise you that it's going to work.
And even me, I will say, I wanted to buy land and I wanted to set a hotel in the island that we were living, and I was like look at these hotels like this, like
That's the way to
we
success.
can have an
Like-
adjunct, but we can have like our like traditional brick and mortar business, like making money. And then we met people who had those businesses in the touristy like island where we were living.
And they're barely keeping their heads above
Yeah.
water a lot of the time.
And they were like surprised by how much money we made.
Yeah.
Because even with their successful established brand,
Yeah.
we were out earning them. And so,
And that's even on their good months, we're still out earning them. But imagine like when the pandemic happened, they didn't have businesses at all anymore. And they still had to keep their staff paid if they wanted to have a good relationship with them and not just like let them starve. And they still had to keep their electricity on and they still had to live. So that's normal. It's like you wouldn't say that someone starting up their own restaurant is going to be a scam if they don't make it in the first month or year.
or a year
And
or 5 years sometimes.
95% of them, I think, or 90% of traditional businesses shut down in their first couple of years. Because it's like you got to stick with it, even when it seems like it's not working. In anything you do, most people won't power through to really make it happen. It doesn't mean that those things are a scam, but it also means not everyone's going to go all the way.
And I would say here too, also going into a student loan debt, spending 4 years on a degree, 5 years with no promise of a high paying job at the other side. I have a friend who's like 40 and like she's had to even get like a master's degree for her job. And basically hates her life and she hates her job, and like she's a teacher and needs to continue to work for the government for I think another year, or maybe at this point she had her
30%.
student loan forgiven.
But she still needs to work to like keep herself alive, right?
She's 40.
Yeah.
And
if you love it, that's one thing. You
But-
still might be like just in survival mode, but you love it. She hates it.
yeah,
And she's like stuck in this cycle of like,
And-
but that's what I was told to do, and that's the way to success. And we make more money than her.
and we not just like the money again, like if
But-
we make more money,
but living our lives the way that we do.
like we enjoy our days, like we stop honestly at least like once a day and we're like
I love our
like
life.
our life is pretty cool, like we
Yeah, we say it a lot.
like even Hattie is like, this is my dream life and whatnot. She
Yeah.
doesn't even know, like again, like she's like, we can't leave daddy behind, like she doesn't even know that
Most kids do say goodbye to their daddy like every morning,
for
or sometimes for weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
And we meet people here in Australia who's like basically they're single moms half of the year because their husband is off working in the mines.
And that's just normal here. That's just what you do.
And yeah, like it's normal to get a car loan and get into that. It's normal to spend 25 years on a mortgage, working 40 years in some company, hoping that, you'll get vacations and some time off, and that the pension at the end is gonna be worth it, and that you're still gonna have your health to like actually enjoy retirement.
Mhm.
Like that's insanity to me. Like that is crazy. And
And to be honest, the corporate structure is actually a pyramid scheme where all the little guys down at the bottom, not only the employees, but then also potentially like the children working in some third world country
like
for
children
pennies.
working in some cobalt mine, so that like
So
the
that
Apple executives can have like
yeah, and you're never gonna out earn that guy. You're never gonna even out earn like your manager, really, like it's set up literally like what people are scared that this is. Look at your own job and how you can't just 1 month work harder than the person above you and out earn them because you went for it and they didn't.
And I will even go as far as to say that I think that when we're young, we buy into these things because we want to have an impact on the
Mhm.
world, right? Like you want to be a doctor or a
Yeah.
nurse, you want to
Teaching,
be
like,
a teacher, you want to be a soldier,
to help people,
because
and
you're protecting, you know, democracy or freedom and all of these things. Like you kind of like we walk into them
with good intention.
willingly with good intentions, believing in a system that honestly doesn't have our back. Like, and
It
when you
wasn't
get
designed for
to,
us to thrive.
yeah,
It
when
was,
you get to my age and you've been kind of like chewed up by the system and spat out, then you're like, F, like, no,
like,
now
what
what?
was the point of all of that, and what did I think I was actually building towards? Because we're building towards what we're told we're supposed to do, like go to school, get married, get a job, get a house, whatever. Like, I guess not in that order, have kids. And like a lot of people do all of these things and they wonder, like, I did it all. Why am I still feeling unfulfilled or lost? And it's not your fault. It's not your fault that we were kind of like indoctrinated into this system that told us like this is the way to success, but it is your responsibility as you have new information to start choosing differently, so that that doesn't have to be the way that our next generation is conditioned to believe.
Yeah, and if nothing changes, then nothing will. So if it's not this, then what? There are other ways of making money. You can invest in crypto, you can become a trader, you can go into real estate.
You can start selling your art. You can go start your own business from the ground up. You can go and make a little cafe. Like, go for it. If these are your lifelong dreams and you have the resources to start it and do it,
And the passion that fuels you,
then go
it.
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, like the sky's the limit. And honestly, we're not making fun of any of this. Um,
But we're just being realistic about what we've seen and what we've
Yeah.
been able to create here without having to do a lot of that. Because you want to sell like little cute things that you made on Etsy or something, but you're also then having to like figure out shipping labels and all these
and
different
actually
things.
making them. And so that's the thing, and like investing in a new product, like research and development, branding, manufacturing, storing, shipping, handling it, marketing,
Yeah.
customer service, the actual like buildings.
And if you love doing it, that's great, but you're still going to trade your time away for money to do the things, right? So
And
if you scale it to a bigger level, you got to make more of those things. It's okay. You'll Okay. You'll also end up needing to sell that anyways. So you're still gonna have to be in sales in some way. You're still gonna have to sell sorry, why your thing makes sense, why someone should work with you, why someone should purchase from you. So you're still gonna be in sales just
And-
for your own thing, which is cool. But here we just didn't have to invent something. We partnered with something that's proven and working. Sorry.
It's
I can
okay.
help you. Daddy?
Daddy.
Daddy. Okay.
Often sacrificing location and financial freedom. And once you've had your time freedom, you realize that that's all you have in life. All you have in life is life. Moments, and you have to be there for those moments, and you have to be there for these little ones, right? Like
Otherwise, what was the point?
if I have to have a job that would take me away from my daughter, I don't think you could pay me enough now, honestly. Like, not because I'm like some,
Like, I'm too good for
yeah, like I'm too good for a corporate job, or like I'm overqualified for the position you're offering me, but honestly, you can't pay me enough now, because
to leave her.
to leave
No.
her, like after traveling the world with her, like after being there for all of those tiny little moments, it's
Yeah, I can't imagine going back to work now. It just doesn't make sense. And that's the thing, is like, you might have a lot of money, but if you don't have your time, or if you can't move around where you follow your heart or want to go, then you're still stuck in some way. And if you have the time but not enough money, like, there's always like something that you're giving and sacrificing in order to have the other thing. We have time freedom to spend our days how we choose. We have location freedom to build our business from anywhere we choose. And we have financial freedom to say yes to the things that we desire in life. And that's like insane to have all three of them, but it just makes sense. So yeah, once you have your freedom, like, you really see that that was all that mattered. And at the end of the day, like, you're not gonna regret the like chances that you took and the risks that you took. You might regret not going for it. You might regret not going for what you could have created, and looking back on your life going, wow, there were there were all these things I wanted to do, all these places I wanted to see, all these memories I wanted to have, and I didn't find a way to go for it and actually do them. That's what you'll regret. You won't regret taking a risk on yourself and taking a chance to believe that you could actually be worthy and capable of what you've always dreamed of. So, with that being said, it's really normal to still feel resistance at this point, even after we've debunked a lot of the myths out there about like online work and what we do. You still could have doubts on whether you can actually do this and whether you're good enough, or you might believe that having too much money makes you a bad person, or
Or even that money is evil.
yeah, you might still not want to sell, or you might be scared of failure or rejection or embarrassing yourself or being seen. You're not alone in any of these feelings. And the thing is that like everyone comes in, even when your logical hesitations may have been debunked today and you're like, oh, okay, well, cool, but I still don't know. There's an energetic resistance a lot of times, and it's because we all like, you know, shifting from the mindset of being an employee to being an entrepreneur and now having to kind of like do it yourself and not know where to start can feel scary. We're going to show you where to start. But yeah, at the end of the day, anyone who's successful here in this space or anything else in life has actually had to overcome a lot of these same limiting beliefs. It's not just you that has them.
Yeah. And what I will say is that recently we were invited again through one of these like exercises to do like a future pacing. So don't wait till you're like 85 to have regrets and be like, oh, like I didn't live the life that I wanted. But if you future pace and think like if my life continues this way, like what will it look when I'm 85? Like, is it where you want to end up or not? And if it isn't, then you really have to make a change here today somehow. And again, if it might not be this, it might not be because we know that this is not for everyone. But the life you want to live will require you to like actually make some changes because or again, or you're in a good place, you're set up, and then
You're happy.
you know, that's great for you. Like that's honestly great.
But are you?
What are you? And if it,
Happy.
yeah, and if it isn't, then again, like you get the opportunity to time travel from your future and tell yourself today, like it is safe to do these things. It is safe to dream bigger and like live differently because again, you don't want to wait till you're 85 to be like, oh damn. Like
all those things I said I was gonna do and never did.
yeah, like I've missed my daughter's like life.
Or we don't have a great relationship because I never saw her and I was stressed all the time and I was tired all the time and I was snappy and I was burnt out. And now
like she's moving out
yeah.
and or she, you know, hopefully still like loves me and all of these things, but like wow, where did this like little girl go?
Yeah.
Again, I would that invitation to like future pace and see like is it like is what I'm doing today setting me up for what I want tomorrow is so powerful. And again, it doesn't have to be this, but I invite you to do it because honestly, like it'll change your life.
Yeah. And I actually just want to add on that. This isn't even in the presentation. So I'm gonna show you something else here for a moment. Give me a second. But where I learned all of this stuff and continue to learn all of this stuff is actually inside a step-by-step online platform that teaches you exactly how to do what it is that we do. So the really cool thing about this is that, let me just share my other screen here. So the cool thing here, it's called the Freedom Era. It's an incredible academy. You can reach out to the person who invited you to this masterclass and get a feel for it, get the link to dive on in. But really the reason that I recommend this is not because it's going to sell you or force you to do anything, but genuinely because you're going to get what's called a discovery process, where you get to really go in and have a feel for what freedom means to you, who you need to become to step into that life, and like what's been holding you back. So really getting an understanding of like where you're at in your life and where you want to go is one of the best things you can do, is start to find some clarity of like what has been holding me back and why haven't I done those things. And But then also understanding the vehicle of Enagic and the different ways of getting started with Enagic, and you literally get a free specialist call inside the academy with someone who can help you find the funds to get started, even if you don't have them. So they're going to support you in all of that. So I wasn't even planning to go into all of this, but I just wanted to share that because I think it is the best way that you can possibly go in and get a feel for things. It's normally $99 a month for all of this amazing training on how to launch your business and also like mindset stuff and amazing, amazing tools. But your first month is only 49 US dollars to just dive in. And there's also a 14-day money back guarantee. So if you decide it's not your thing, you literally just opt right out, risk-free, pressure-free. No one's going to make you do anything. There's no obligation, but it's just an opportunity to get more of a feel for it. And our ultimate goal in all of this, and the Academy's ultimate goal, is that you feel informed enough and clear enough to be able to make a choice that actually feels really, really good and sits well with you, one way or the other. So that's the best place that you can start. Reach out and just chat with us.
Yeah,
Just
chat
let us
with
know
us.
where you're
Again,
at.
we have tools, we have resources, we have links to like the scientific things and all of that. But again, like I wouldn't necessarily say make a decision based on like the science or like the thing. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
does
a
it,
feeling.
yeah, does it feel like this is the right choice for you? And if it does, we're here to talk.
Yeah, awesome. So reach out. Lots of love. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, reach out to the person that brought you here for more information. Bye, guys.